Hello and welcome to Soulful Valley, Tammy.
Hello, it's so good to be here.
Tammy is one of our authors in Evolving on Purpose. Tammy, can you share with our listeners what it is that you do and how you ended up in this book?
Um, well, I consider myself a holistic life coach, a self-love and happiness coach for highly sensitive people. And the path to the book actually was pretty organic. I had people telling me, "Oh, you need to do more with your writing," and "Oh, you really need to tell your story." And I kept thinking, well, it's my story, whatever, not a big deal. But I kept hearing that. And then I kept seeing things, of course, pop up in my feed on everything. And then I got a message from you. And I thought, what? Okay, what's the universe saying, right? Listen to this, so I'll check it out. But it took a couple days to look at it. And then, of course, by the time I saw that and I said, oh, this is speaking to me. And now I have like 5 days for the initial cutoff, right? It's like, okay, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? But yeah, so everything just kind of, all the paths were converging, and there it was. And it just seemed like an amazing opportunity to get my word out. I'm always trying to get as many people as possible to understand high sensitivity and what that is, and how it can be a great thing, and it doesn't have to be something to hold you back, and just like spreading that word as much as possible. So this seemed like the perfect opportunity for that.
Absolutely. Can you share a bit about what your chapter touches on? What story you share without giving away too much of it?
Yeah, it's about my journey as a sensitive person, highly sensitive person, but not being aware that that was something that anybody else shared. That it was just my journey of finding myself beyond what I'd already discovered through all of my own personal work. Once I recognized that I had this trait that a lot of other people do, and it just helped me reframe my whole life until that point. And it really shifted what I do with my clients once I became aware of that as well. So it's just discussing, sharing that journey of self-discovery and understanding, and how I learned to help others through that same journey, so that they can realize just this, what I call a superpower of being highly sensitive, and showing how that doesn't have to be this huge challenge and limitation only. It can be an amazing thing. And that's my story.
And how do you work with clients?
So I in my coaching program, I incorporate a kind of a typical coaching focus, I suppose you'd say, just chatting about what's not working, but what's working as well, and shifting toward more of the what's working, of course. Using a lot of techniques, exercises, things like that for self-discovery and understanding. And along with that, I incorporate a lot of my background is pretty broad. So I bring in energy work, craniosacral therapy and chakra balancing and things like that for those that fits with. But I also am an EFT practitioner, or tapping. So I incorporate that quite a lot as well. And then even back when I was a counselor, before I shifted into other things and found my way back to coaching, I focused a lot on self-care and what we consider mindfulness nowadays. Back then, it wasn't really termed that, but helping develop a lot of coping strategies. One of the things with highly sensitives is we tend to get overwhelmed very easily, and it's really important to calm the nervous system. So I work a lot with making sure that everyone has a really big, well-rounded toolbox to mitigate those as well. So kind of just incorporating all of those things, but really looking at changing mindset, self-talk, beliefs that we've had, throughout our entire life, that just are blocking us, not helping us at all. So focusing a lot on shifting those thought patterns.
Absolutely, especially those subconscious beliefs that hold us all back. And I know EFT has been the tool that's really shifted me. So I'd been a mindfulness coach for years, but there was stuff going on subconsciously that was totally different to how I felt consciously. It held me back for a long time. So it's probably the best tools out of all of the modalities that I trained in that I really use and encourage other people to use as well. It's really important. So
yeah, absolutely.
Tammy, a question I like to ask my guests is, what would you go back and tell your 20-year-old self now?
My 20-year-old self. I would tell her that all of the things that you think are quirky or that need to be changed or fixed or that is wrong with you is not how you see it at all. That those are unique qualities of you that can be reinforced and expanded and seen in a totally different light so that they can actually help you on your way, on your journey, and that you're an amazing, unique being that needs to be celebrated and not changed.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I like that question.
Well, I used that question because I came across some letters last year that I'd written when I was 20, and I realised how depressed I was when I was 20. So it's sort of a question I like to ask people because I know, I'd have a lot of advice to give my 20-year-old self now. It's a good question. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you'd like to share today?
I think so, without giving away too much, I like to share everything I can, of course, about high sensitivity. And so it's something that's researched. There's a lot of background and a lot of data, and it shows that about 20, maybe even as high as 30 with the recent research percent of the population is highly sensitive. But in my experience, a very small percentage of those folks actually are aware of the trait. They know they're highly sensitive, not an issue. They've known that their whole lives, but knowing that there's others like them out there, I think that's one of the most important pieces, is that validation and normalizing of that piece. So I would say, if there's anyone who's thinking that, how high sensitivity, what does that mean? And they want to find out more for themselves, do search it, research it, find out as much as you can to help with that validation. But also, if you know someone else, your child or your partner or anyone else that might have a high sensitivity, learning more about that on their behalf can help you understand that person, that much better, and how to be supportive. So I would just say, find out as much as you can and see if that's a fit, if that's something that's, you're experiencing, or someone that and just get as much information as possible so that it's validated and normalized. And it just makes all the difference in the world. The day that I learned, oh, this is a trait, this is something that everyone else, or not everyone, 20% of the population experiences similar to myself, my whole life changed. I mean, it was this huge aha moment where I finally felt like, oh, I'm part of, I do have a tribe. I do have community out there that understands me. And it's just a huge, huge piece. So super important for anyone who's feeling like, their emotions are kind of always going crazy, or get really overwhelmed with life, and just feel super sensitive, or you hear that all, your whole life, you're so sensitive, you're too sensitive. Check it out, see if that's something that fits with you, because knowing that it's not just you, game changer.
Absolutely. And I think as well that most of us in the book can probably relate to being highly sensitive. I think it's been mentioned in a few chapters. So you're definitely not alone. And reading this book, you're going to find out how other people have overcome these gifts of life, really.
Right. Yeah, our superpower.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. So where can people find you?
The easiest place, if people are familiar with Linktree, you can go to Linktree and just type in my name, TAMMYGOEN. And then I have a whole list of resources, my website, social media. I've got some, resource for stress reduction recommendations. And then there's a free guide for communicating with non-highly sensitive people. And you can read, connect with my blog, because I have, lots of blog posts regarding healthy ideas in general, but also specific to highly sensitives. So that's the best place, because then you have the choice of all the resources.
And we'll share that in the show notes. But also, you'll be able to connect with Tammy when the book goes out on the 22nd of October at 9 a.m. in your country, because there'll be links to every author in the book in their biographies. Thank you so much for today, Tammy.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this amazing project, and I'm very excited to be part of it.
You're very welcome. Bye for now.
See ya. Thanks.